Hola, Jason from YapaTree here. Today we delve into an important topic for anyone making the transition to Ecuador: navigating service expectations. I'm going to address it from two perspectives, as a customer and as a service provider. Let's go. Expats often face a series of challenges adjusting to the service levels provided in Ecuador. From delayed responses to the use of different communication methods and the subtle intricacies of local culture, there's a lot to navigate as a newcomer. To help you grasp these challenges, allow me to share a couple of personal anecdotes. Firstly, these office chairs in our new studio. Sidebar, do you like it? It's almost ready. And back to the chairs, should have been a simple purchase, right? Jump on Amazon and they arrive a few hours later. Nope. Firstly, there is no Amazon here, and bulky purchases like this can be expensive to ship from the US even if we wanted to go down that path. We purchased them locally. I found them on Facebook with a promotional price of $25 each. Great, that's a really nice price. So I went into the shop to buy them only to find out that they would not honor the promotional price. Apparently, marketing had messed up. And they only had the display model in stock and they wouldn't be able to order any others at that price. Now, in Australia and the US, I know that we're used to consumer legislation that makes it difficult for business to do this. I'm actually not sure what the legislation is on these matters here, but I figured there was a strong enough grey area to put forward a case to push on with my purchase. And after 30 minutes of back and forth, I did end up getting the chairs for the office at the advertised price, and they ordered several more for me at this price. Little victory here, fantastic. I received an email about a week later that I could pick up the chairs. So I went in right away and I was told to wait at the entrance whilst the staff picked up the chairs. They turned up around 45 minutes later with what appeared to be a whole bunch of chair parts in various bags. So I naturally asked the dude, there's no instructions or inventory list. How am I supposed to know that I have all the parts? And his response was a simple shrug of the shoulders. And at this point, I had to either accept the random assortment of chair parts or push for a refund. I was tired and I wanted the chairs, so I just took the bags and made a tiny leap of faith that all the parts were included. Clearly, I did manage to IKEA my way through setting up these chairs and all ended well in this instance. Now, I've lived in Ecuador for over 5 years, and whilst I'm certainly no stranger to these types of scenarios, I do still find myself a little bit frustrated when they occur, especially if I've had like 2 or 3 similar interactions during the same day. I do tend to need to remind myself just to take a step back and breathe, maybe have some coffee. I tell myself that this is one of the reasons that I love Cuenca and Ecuador so much. It's because of the relaxed attitude towards daily living. And so maybe I just can't have it both ways. The foundation of a successful transition is setting realistic service expectations. It's not about lowering your standards, but about aligning them with the local norms and practices. For example, one pivotal aspect of adapting is recognizing the dominance of WhatsApp as the primary communication tool in Ecuador. It's the key to communicating with all businesses here. Email really isn't used much locally. I wish it was used more, as that is my preference. But I also realize that WhatsApp is probably not used a lot in the US or wherever you're from. And so I do strongly recommend spending a few minutes to download it. It is free, and setting it up on your phone. Now let's talk about turnaround times. I've definitely had to adapt to local turnaround times. For example, if I send an email to a business in the US, I would have a general expectation that it would be addressed in 24 hours. Here, I'm lucky if I get a response within 4 or 5 days. The most likely scenario is that I need to email them again or find a different contact method, either calling them or sending a WhatsApp message. And that is as a customer. If I'm asking a business to actually do something, for example, maybe they've expressed an interest in advertising with YapaTree and I've sent them a proposal, I generally need to follow up with this business at least 5 times. It is what it is and I cannot change that. Whenever I get frustrated, I do find myself going back to the words of Martin, the owner of Golden Prague Pub and Restaurant, when he said, "You have to accept that the people will not do it the way you want." I am slowly accepting this, and that gives me a little bit of peace. But you also need to be very careful about expressing your frustration openly. Ecuadorian defamation laws are very different to what you're used to, and you can quickly find yourself in hot water if you start bad-mouthing a business here. Even comments on social media can be grounds for a business commencing legal action against you. I hate this, especially as a content producer. There is just so much that I cannot say, and it further frustrates me as a consumer. But this is Ecuador, and I've had to adapt, and I suggest you do too. So here are some tips for adapting. When it comes to confronting service challenges in Ecuador, there's really one tool that stands out as the most potent in your arsenal, and that is the power of positivity. It can transform difficulties into stepping stones and adversities into opportunities. Taking a step back and asking myself, does this really matter, often helps me as well. Do I really care that my office chairs weren't individually packed into boxes? Ultimately, no. I would have cared if the pieces weren't all there, and I would have had to endure more wasted time if they were not. But spending more time going back and forth with the cashier at the time of purchase was not going to help the situation. Accepting this challenge as an opportunity to practice my Spanish negotiation skills proved to be very helpful. I also suggest trying to be as patient as you can when you're sending multiple follow-ups. You'll likely need to send numerous nudges to get your desired result, and it's tempting to be snarky and confrontational when doing so. But if you start adding language barrier issues into this, you can quickly end up with a spiraling situation with you as the main loser. So don't be afraid to test your adaptability, resilience, and creativity. Push yourself in ways that you've never pushed yourself in the US or wherever you're coming from. Learn, grow, and come out stronger on the other side. It's this constructive outlook that can make all the difference in your expat journey. But let's jump to the other side of the fence as a service provider. YapaTree Properties. Now, indeed, one of the main reasons we operate a real estate business is because we found many of the existing agents simply did not provide a good service. The bar was set rather low, so I knew that we could quite comfortably outcompete other agents on service. And of course we do. To my knowledge, we're the only real estate agency in Cuenca that uses a CRM to manage the full customer lifetime journey. This allows us to ensure we're not just responding in a timely manner, but importantly, it also allows us to keep all of our communication centralized and in order. And ultimately, this allows us to set customer response times to within 24 hours. Often it is a lot quicker, but even so, we still come across some customers that have much higher expectations than this. And if this is you, I do suggest you spend some time adapting to local expectations. And if not, you'll likely find yourself frustrated on a daily basis, and I don't think that's a great way to live your life. Now, let me be clear, 99% of our customers are amazing, and we're extremely grateful that you trust us for your real estate needs. It's only a very small portion of customers that we've ever had issues with. And a quick rant, there are just some plain rude customers out there. And some likely have mental health issues too, which can make it very challenging to navigate these relationships. It is in our nature to try and resolve as many issues as possible for our clients, but treat me, or even worse, my staff, rudely, and we will not work with you, period. I will not put our staff in a situation where I would not want to be in myself, and I do not like working with entitled, self-absorbed individuals. And yes, this is probably a little bit harsh, but I think you catch my drift. Treat us right, and we'll bend over backwards to help you. Now, a heartfelt thank you for joining us today. Remember that whenever you face a service challenge, it's not a roadblock, but an opportunity for growth. Every interaction, every hurdle are part of your adventure. And as you continue your journey, we invite you to stay tuned for upcoming videos on real estate and all aspects of life in Ecuador. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please feel free to do so, as it does really help our message reach more people. Of course, if you're in the market for a property to buy or rent in Cuenca, do feel free to check out our current listings or submit your preferences and we'll find it for you. Links are in the description below. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Ciao.